Vance had a skill, a gift that always awed me. He could stare into that camera and tell you something deeply personal, and he would not flinch or stumble. He almost dared you to look away. It was a raw power that few of us on this side of the camera possess. He was masterful. But watching him in life was even more compelling. You couldn't look away. I always wanted to be him just for a day and see what his life was like on the inside, because Vance was light and shadows, and it was always fascinating to watch him deal with his internal weather system. He had a big life, and being around him made our lives big. He changed the energy of a room just by entering it, even if it was just the two of us in my living room, and not because he was an icon or a celebrity, never. He just arrived with a joyful curiosity, glad to be there. And he would seek you out because he wanted to know what was going on in your head these days. He was the friend who sees you, sees the nuances in you. He wanted to know what it was like being you. And that observation of all things made him such a wise man, the wisest friend you could ever have, the one you go to check your own calibrations about work and romance and the quotidian crap that can wear us down. He always had an answer, or he had a story that told you there were no answers. And he always called me Rieger. He'd say, Rieger, I'm gonna ride my bike down your way. You home? I remember him visiting me at the river. He was standing in my front yard when my neighbor drove by, and she drove off the road to pull over to park. She leaps out and runs up to meet Jim Vance, and he made her feel like an old friend. She was so delirious and flustered, she ended up walking home and left her car running in front of my house. It was like, Lynn, your car? She came back sheepishly to get it just a few minutes later, and I looked at him and I said, look what you're doing in my neighborhood. The Vance effect. 12 years ago, he gave me a Johnny Hartman, a CD of Johnny Hartman and John Coltrane doing My One and Only Love, and he said, Rieger, you need this in your life. I have made more men slow dance with me to that song to determine if they're worthy. And when I told Vance about this, I thought he would laugh, but instead he goes, you know, Rieger, that dance will tell you a lot, and I suspect few men will pass that test. He was right. One more story. I was complaining about work, and he said, Rieger, I came from a family of plumbers, and I used to watch my grandfather strap an iron tub to his back and carry it up 2 flights of stairs. This ain't heavy lifting. Message received. Grieving the loss of that wise, insightful, warm, curious, loving, joyful, complicated man is heavy lifting. And sadly, the only person who can possibly help us make sense of this is Vance. There's a line in a song that asks, can the voices of the living be heard by the dead? And if so, then the last 2 days, Vance's spirit has been enveloped in a loving roar of the escalating tributes, thanks to all of you. And in the midst of that, I hope he hears my tiny whisper telling him, the very thought of you makes my heart sing forever.